because I believe Jack Flaherty will be one of the most important pitchers, probably the most important pitcher in Cardinal spring training. And Kamish is like, no, he didn't say this, but I can tell with his voice. He gave me his version of the well, hold on now. He said there's no question he's the most important pitcher, and he is. And here I love to always come up with this is either a good thing or an irritating thing, but I do it all the time. I always like to come up with a stat, and this is not a fancy pants stat. It's more about just a simple stat that I think frames it the right way to give you some perspective on it. And let me find it here because I have it, and I apologize. So Bill James, among the many things that he does, and during the baseball season, and I never really took full advantage of this, during the baseball season, literally every day of the baseball season, he updates his world's greatest starting pitchers rankings. And you can look at the top 25, you can look at the top 50, top 100, top 200. Wherever there are starting pitchers, they're included on this list, and it's in the major leagues. And you can put the thing in a search term to find as many numbers, as many pitchers listed as you want. So, and Bill's very thorough on how he comes across these rankings. I love these rankings because literally day to day they can change. If a starter who's been going great gets into a bit of a rut, you'll see him kind of gradually dropping in the rankings. I just think it's funny. It's a fun way to look at it. So here's the Jack Flaherty thing that tells you all you need to know. I had to set this up before I could give it to you so you knew what the heck I was talking about. So at the end of the 2019 season, when Jack Flaherty had obviously really, really, really good campaign, Bill James had him number 9 overall in his best starting pitcher list behind Verlander, Garrett Cole, Jacob deGrom, Max Scherzer, Steven Strasburg, Chris Sale, Patrick Corbin, and Clayton Kershaw. Now, you may say, well, Corbin stinks. Well, yeah, he has since 2019, but these were the rankings as of the end of the 19 season. So he had Jack Flaherty at number 9 overall. That's quite the compliment, and in my opinion, it's accurate because I won't bore you with those numbers, but I was doing some work on that today. And, boy, Jack Flaherty was awfully good in 2019. And it wasn't just his final 16 starts either. That's when he kicked it into peak form. Final 16 starts, the man had an 0.93 ERA. Is that good? And he struck out 33.3% of the hitters he faced. Is that good? I think so. Held opponents to like a 412 OPS. Is that good? Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Anyway, Bill James had him number 9 overall. Now, at the end of this past season, I had to scroll down a long way. Jack Flaherty, according to Bill James, was number 183 on his best starter ratings. Behind that Nationals pitcher, is it Eric Freedy? Eric Freedy?
Yeah.
Jack Flaherty was behind him, and he was ahead of somebody named Josh Winder. So
I don't even know who that is.
I don't either. So at the end of 2019, which ain't that long ago, I mean, he's in the middle of a list that has Verlander, Cole, deGrom, Scherzer, Strasburg, Kershaw. Number 9 overall, and as he left, as the season closed in 2022, he was 183rd on Bill James' world's greatest starting pitcher list.
Whew.
That's a pretty big fall, ain't it?
That's a huge fall.
Yeah. So that shows you how much he has to make up, how much he has to prove. I find him, Jim, so compelling because more than I'm going to even say, I think even more than anybody in that camp, if Jack Flaherty can be what he was in 2019, this rotation is dramatically different. But like I told Rick Hummel, I can't muster the confidence to say, yeah, I really believe it's going to happen. I do think he's got a hell of a lot better chance now because I trust that he's a little more alert about if there's any problems, and he's going to tell the truth about if there's any physical problems. I guarantee you he ain't going to be doing this stuff, twisting his manager's arm. No, I'm ready. I'm ready to pitch, which was an absolute disaster and really an embarrassment to the organization when Jack Flaherty decided he was ready and he decided to speed up his rehab schedule. He's ready to pitch. No, you weren't. He had 3 awful starts and got hurt again and didn't return. That was in June, and he didn't return until early September. So I think he's learned a lesson, and if some of you are sore at him still for that, I get it, man. No smart talk from me because it frustrates me as well. But I'm more looking forward now, and I'm like, okay, what did we learn? What did he learn, from that awful experience? And his 2022 was so tormented. Just so frustrating and tormented. I think, I do believe Jack Flaherty cares deeply. I believe he always has. I never question his work ethic or his heart. I know some of you hate him for reasons that have nothing to do with baseball. You're entitled to feel the way you feel. I'm explaining to you why I don't really care about that. To me, it's about, all right, can he pitch? Is he healthy? How good is he going to be? Will he last all year? Is it possible for him to get, in 2019, his overall ERA was 2.75. Is it possible for him to get around that level again? That's all I care about. If you hate him because of, social media or because he, social justice, very mild social justice protest stuff, that's fine. I'm about the baseball, okay? I'm about the baseball. There's enough to dislike about the trajectory he's had that has nothing to do with things that aren't baseball. So is he finally going to put it all back together again? Is he finally going to be smarter about understanding what's going on with his shoulder or any other part and doing a rehab if he has to, and I'm hoping that he doesn't, but just not making the same mistakes again as far as coming back too soon. And by the way, it ain't all up to him either. A medical staff that took more than a month to send Dylan Carlson in to have his thumb looked at, these people have a lot to do with it as well. And when I say I don't know how to be confident, how much confidence in Jack Flaherty for 2023, even if he enters the season healthy, I'm having a hard time really revving up confidence. And part of that, a big part of that, is what would happen if there is a small medical thing, a small physical thing that really isn't a big deal. Is that staff down there going to have any clue whatsoever of how to handle it without screwing it up? That's why I have a hard time with I'd love to gauge Flaherty and say, you know what? Yeah, he's really going to get it done this year. He's really going to pitch well. I'm really confident, guys. I'm not, because I don't trust him entirely to be smart about injuries, and I sure as hell don't trust the people that should have 100% trust in these matters, and that would be the medical staff. And as I say this now, like everyone that works in that area is getting text messages from fans and friends and family, how can he say that about you? Oh, my goodness. I can say that because we have about 20,000 examples.
Yeah.
I'm exaggerating, but y'all know what I mean. What do you think about Flaherty?
100% agreement. He transcends this rotation to having a potential to be dominant. And what I mean, because he can be that guy. Or they'll just be what they were last year, which was, they're okay. They can compete. They're not going to overwhelm anybody, but they're okay. But he can jump them up to the next level to where you go, I'm confident we can maybe get one of these games in the playoffs with him and then use him and use his arm to steal a series, so to speak, as we've seen with some of the other guys who can be just as dominant. So that he really is that much. I'm skeptical, much like yourself, because I just
You sort of got to be. You got to hold out with some skepticism.
I'm already expecting, the first couple weeks going, well, he's got a shoulder stiff tightness thing, and we're just going to let him shut him down
Let's
for
just
2
feed
weeks.
it. We're going to miss a start.
Yeah.
That's all,
Well, I just feel that coming. I hope not, though.
I bring up the Carlson thing because that one's a fresh one, and it really, really bothers me. I mean, and I'm being 100% genuine about that. It really, really bothers me, and to me, it's just absolutely incomprehensible that they let that thing drag on before they got an MRI. I'm sitting here 9 days before Christmas, and I'm still astonished by that. So that's why I have a hard time trusting anything that has to do with the medical care of the players. I really, really have a problem, trusting that situation. But, the one thing that I always have to remind myself, and I know we got to go here, the one thing I always remind myself is, before he strained that oblique, and that was at Dodger Stadium, I think on Memorial Day of 2021, he, in his first 11 starts, he had a 2.90 ERA and looked really, really good. But then he had that oblique, which put him on the IL for a long time, and then he came back too soon, and he overcompensated, and then it affected his shoulder, and it's just been nonstop ever since. That's why he's got to be a hell of a lot smarter, and the adults in charge have to be a hell of a lot smarter. That includes the manager of the Cardinals, and the biggest mistake he made all year is this, I feel you, bro. I feel you, bro. Let me tap my heart. I feel you. When Flaherty, made this impassioned plea to return to the rotation, when he had no business, no purpose, no legit reason in terms of having a presence on the mound, should not have been anywhere near a major league mound. But Ali wanted to show he got caught up in that Schilt Matheny stuff, which he didn't very often last season. He didn't. But he got caught up in that's my guy. We have a trusting relationship. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about that.
Agreed.
Be smart. You're the adult. That's why they're paying you. Anyway, I have another thing along those lines for a show next week because there's another pitcher. This would be the oldest pitcher.
Oh.
And I found some stuff that tells me and tells us that the manager of the Cardinals is going to be very, very important in terms of Adam Wainwright's success or failure next season. He's got to stop with the worship. I'm just going to say here, we'll talk about it next week. Got to stop with the worship, okay? Got to be smart about when you take him out of games.